Hey everybody, welcome back. It's time for What's for Dinner.
Hello.
I hope you're all doing well. Happy Saturday, Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody who's viewing is going to have a nice, long, relaxing, enjoyable weekend spending time with their family and friends. And unfortunately, sometimes with hanging out with family and friends can cause complications, especially when it comes to the way you're eating.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll get into that in a minute
Yep.
here. So what do we got going on tonight for dinner, hon?
So Saturdays, I just like sometimes to be easy, and we made chaffles. So 1 cup of mozzarella, 1 cup of mozzarella, 4 tablespoons of almond flour, and 2 eggs.
Gotcha. And so you're looking at just the chaffle when it comes out there,
Yeah.
and then here's the finished product right here. So these are mine. I made 4 open-faced chaffles. So I have corned beef on there with baby Swiss cheese, and then a little bit of onion, just a small amount of onion. Some of you folks have asked about onions or mentioned them, and they do have some carbs in them. Not a lot, but just a little bit of onion is fine. And then I also have on there some sauerkraut, and then I use the Jane's Crazy mixed up salt and also some mustard on mine. And then Teresa does hers a little bit different. And there is the waffle maker, slash chaffle maker, just so you all know.
Yep.
And then Teresa does hers a little different. What do you got going on?
I just have Munster cheese.
Okay.
But everything else is the same. I cut up tomato and onion. So
Yeah.
did you get it?
I didn't get tomato. I'll have
I
to
don't
put that
know
on mine.
if I will either, but
Anyway,
it's there.
they're good either way. So, what we made tonight, will this cause our blood sugar and our insulin to spike at all?
It won't, and so the chaffles are made with almond flour, and so that does not have the same impact on your glucose or your insulin.
Okay.
Now, if you had regular bread, of course, if you added potato chips, yes. If you added potato salad, yes. If you added macaroni salad, yes. But just this does nothing to your blood sugar. It's only when you add the sugar in with the protein and fat that your blood sugar goes up and you store fat.
Gotcha. All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So do we want to just kind of pick up where we left off on the whole thing with Memorial Day weekend and like hanging out with people? And
I mean, I think like 4th of July and Memorial Day and Labor Day can be easier because many times
Yeah.
it's a cookout.
Yep.
So you can have brats, hot dogs, burgers,
Steaks.
pork butt, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I feel like that part is easy.
Yep.
I would recommend eating before you go so you're not super starving. And then, but everyone's going to bring their sides. And sometimes you like Aunt Sally's XYZ and she always brings it in, and it's hard to say no to.
Yeah, baked beans, coleslaw, all the little
Mac
things
and
that can,
cheese.
yeah. And it's not just the carbs that can seep into, a lot of times the condiments or the ingredients, they can have seed oils in them as well.
Right.
And so we've talked quite a bit about the seed oils and the issues with inflammation with that. And
Yeah.
so we got to be careful of that as well.
Yeah, the seed oils, I think, have a detrimental effect on our health and inflammation and actually causing diabetes as well. But carbohydrates, processed foods, and seed oils go hand in hand. There's virtually no processed food that's made without seed oil.
Yeah.
So,
You mentioned earlier about having something to eat before you go to an outing. So I always like to bring up the Christmas party we had several years ago for the office. We were going out to a Christmas party, and we were going out with employees and whatnot, and we knew that there would be a lot of temptation at this restaurant we were going to. So planning ahead, we went ahead and front loaded with eating a burger about an hour before we left to go out.
Yeah.
And we got there, and sure enough, we ended up just getting steak and maybe a little bit of salad and whatnot. But there was wine and alcoholic drinks there, and there was also lots of yummy appetizers and things like that. But we weren't. It's amazing how when you just get some protein in your belly, you don't feel those hunger cravings, and you don't have that little what's that little voice inside of your head called?
Cueing.
Yeah. So.
Well, the other thing is too, you have to at some point come to the conclusion that X, Y, and Z is more important to me than my health. And X, Y, and Z might be so important to you that 3 times a year you have it, but not every weekend or twice a week or whatever. So at some point you just have to say, I can't have that. But then you have Aunt Sally chasing you around with whatever she made that she knows you like. Why aren't you eating this? And even if you tell Aunt Sally you have diabetes, she's going to still be like, you can have a little. A little doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Even if you told her you have diarrhea when you eat that, she's going to say, a little
that's
diarrhea
fine.
is not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a weird phenomenon.
Why is it always the little old ladies, little aunts and grandmothers and stuff like that?
Well, before I was the way I was, my love language is acts of service, so I love to cook and bake for people.
Yeah.
Now, also, unconsciously, it helped my own addiction because, I made you brownies, and oh, sure, I'll have one with you.
Yeah. Speaking of addiction, talk a little bit about that unhealthy relationship that we have with the abusive relationship
Yeah.
that we have with food. Like, just like if you have an abusive relationship at home with a spouse or, you know, a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, we use food and alcohol, of course, to medicate feelings. We're all emotional eaters. Dr. Rob Seifus says every snacking event is an emotional event. So, you know, you start dating someone and you deserve a pint of ice cream. You break up with that person, you should get a pint of ice cream. All the rom-com movies and stuff have women eating out of the tub of ice cream with a spoon when they break up with a boyfriend. Or you go to sell anything here, celebratory, football Sundays, Super Bowl Sundays, everything that we do is revolved around food.
Yeah, and so the next thing you know, I mean, like, you just do a little bit here, a little bit there, and then, you know, I mean, it's like, well, when are you actually going to stop and eat the way you need to be
Yeah,
eating?
I think that it can sneak in so easily, multiple times a week before you even realize that that's what you've done. So,
but also that abusive relationship with food, you know, when you're addicted to it, you know, talking about, like, you don't stay with an abusive, you know, boyfriend or spouse. You know, you've got to break up that relationship. You got to,
well, and it's hard. And so food addiction, I'm not sure anymore if it's not in the psychiatry DSM that they use for diagnosing, but food addiction falls under alcohol. Like, you are damaging yourself knowingly because you can't stop. I mean, all the things are the same.
Yeah. All the qualifiers.
Yeah, qualifiers are the same, but we act like food is just innocuous, like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
It doesn't harm people, but it does.
I think it's just been so normalized, you know, like, you go to the grocery store, and like we've said this before, is, you know, if you go around the outside of the grocery store, you're fine. The outside perimeter, you got, you know, whole foods, vegetables, you know, some fruit, and just real food. But then if you go to any of the aisles are full of all the processed junk, and all that stuff is all cues. They've got it all set up just the right way to catch your attention, catch your kids' attention, especially the cereal aisles.
Yeah.
And then especially on the way out the door, you're trying to pay for your groceries, and what do they have sitting there? It's all the little cueing things to, hey, just grab a quick candy bar, grab a quick this, that. It's all right there in the checkout line.
Yeah. Do I have time to say something?
Absolutely.
So I share this story sometimes in the office, but Mark and I we were in Texas at a conference, and the conference got out kind of late, like 6:30, and that's too late for me to eat. For me, I know it. I hadn't eaten lunch. I don't sleep well if I eat too late, so I said, I'm not going to eat anything. Mr. Can't Sit Still said, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm staying in the hotel room. We don't have TV here at the house, so at the hotel, I watch TV. Every commercial iteration was a food, a pharmaceutical company, and an attorney advertisement about some pharmaceutical.
Oh, I remember this conversation, yeah.
Right, and so I'm perfectly fine. But after the second or third commercial iteration, and I remember the big one was Carl Jr.'s burgers. It was constantly advertised.
Yeah.
After about the third iteration of commercials, my stomach was growling. That's cueing.
Yeah.
My stomach was growling, and their marketing and advertising worked. And now I didn't eat, but still, like, it suddenly became a little uncomfortable.
And just so everybody knows, Carl's Jr. is fine. You just go into a place like that, you order nothing but the patties. You don't
Right.
get the buns and everything. We've done that. We did the same thing. Excuse me. Coming back on that trip from Texas, we stopped at Wendy's.
Oh my gosh.
And we got in the line inside.
Oh,
We
such
went
a
to sit down,
spectacle.
and we were such a spectacle because we asked for. I think I ordered 12 burgers without buns.
And I ordered like 5.
And yeah, so, you know, and here the lady at the front was calling it out, yelling it back to the people in the back, and it was just this big
And
deal.
the people behind us, their face was just, you know, so, what is this?
Yeah.
But they probably think we're either going to die of cholesterol or be super fat. And
Here we are thinking we're doing the exact opposite of that. So who's right, who's wrong?
Right.
Who knows?
And honestly, you couldn't eat 10 burgers with the bun. The only reason you can eat 10 patties is because you don't eat the bread.
Yeah.
So,
Good stuff. Good
okay.
stuff. All right. Anything else?
No, good luck. Good luck this weekend. I know you can do it. But I do think the biggest thing is to eat when you go, and bring something that you know is safe for you in case that's all you can eat. But
I'll tell you all a little secret. If you go out with a bunch of friends and you're trying to quit alcohol and you don't want to drink, and you go out with your friends and you know they're going to be drinking and stuff,
Right. Not
you get a
nice.
little cup and you have them put water in the cup and pretend like it's a vodka, pretend like it's whatever, and walk around with that cup in your hand. If you walk around with a cup in your hand, nobody's going to be like, hey, what are you not drinking or whatever? But if you are walking around without a cup in your hand, with a cup in your hand, nobody's going to bother you.
it's unfortunately true. I had a patient tell me that she spends the summers at the lake, and she was trying to do this, and so no one would leave her alone until she started to take around her Yeti with water, but everyone assumed it was vodka. So,
Yeah, they
or
just
some
assumed
sort of
you were part of the tribe. You were in.
You weren't trying to defect.
Right. Anyway, all right,
Okay.
guys. Yeah. So we love you all,
Yeah.
and shoot us your questions if you have any, and tell us what you're having for dinner.
Yes.
And God bless you all. I hope to see you at church tomorrow.
Yay.
And yeah, you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Okay, bye.